President Trump just told Walmart to eat the tariffs. Not literally, of course, but basically, hey Walmart, don't raise prices, just absorb the extra cost. Problem is, Walmart replied, if we eat the tariffs, we'll be eating into our profits. But here's the thing. While America argues over politics and price tags, guess who might quietly get caught in the economic crossfire? Us. Right here in Singapore. Yup. What starts as a trade spat between the US and China could mess with our jobs, our economy, and yes, our wallets. So stick around till the end. I'll break down exactly how this affects you, what Singapore is doing about it, and what smart Singaporeans like you should be watching out for next. If you care about your money and want to stay one step ahead of the headlines, hit that like button and subscribe to Wealth for You, where global economics meets your everyday wallet. Hi everyone, welcome back to Wealth for You, where we keep your finances healthy, even when global trade goes a little haywire. Today we're talking tariffs, not the type on your next grab ride, but those big scary trade taxes countries slap on each other during an economic showdown. And what's all this got to do with Singapore? You'd be surprised. Chapter 1. Quick recap. What just happened? So here's the scoop. The US and China recently agreed to delay raising tariffs, kinda like hitting the pause button for 90 days. The US was going to raise tariffs up to 145%, and China would have retaliated with up to 125%. Thankfully, both sides agreed to dial it back to 30% and 10%, at least for now. Trump, in classic Trump fashion, went online and told Walmart not to raise prices, basically saying, take one for the team. But Walmart, which runs on razor-thin margins, said, if we absorb those costs, we'll go broke. And that, my friends, is how tariffs turn into price hikes for everyday folks, not just in the US, but globally. Chapter 2. Why Singapore Can't Just Sit Back. Now let's bring this back home. Singapore is a super open economy. We're not just making kaya toast. We're shipping electronics, pharmaceuticals, and high-tech goods everywhere, especially to the US and China. So when these two giants get into a trade war, we feel the vibrations. Think of it like sitting next to a couple fighting on the MRT. You're not in the argument, but you're still getting elbowed. Chapter 3. The real impact on Singapore. Let's bring this trade war closer to home. Because even though we're thousands of miles away, Singapore doesn't live in a bubble. We're one of the most open economies in the world, which means when global trade sneezes, we catch a cold. 1. Slower global trade equals to fewer orders for Singapore companies. Already, some local businesses are reporting cash flow problems. Orders from overseas are getting delayed, payments are stuck in limbo, and supply chains are moving at the speed of a Sunday stroll. Less trade means fewer customers, which means less revenue. And when money gets tight, companies start cutting back on spending, hiring, and sometimes even people. Not ideal. 2. Job pressure on factory workers, port crews, and the supply chain gang. Singapore thrives on making and moving things, from electronics to pharmaceuticals. But if fewer goods are flowing through the global economy, our factories, ports, and logistics workers will feel the squeeze. And here's the kicker. Our pharmaceutical exports, which make up over 10% of our trade with the US, could be next on the tariff hit list. That's a risk we can't ignore. 3. Rising costs for everyday Singaporeans. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't work in trade or manufacturing. Why should I care? Because tariffs travel, not just across oceans, but right into your daily life. Retailers and businesses facing higher import costs often pass it on to consumers. That means higher prices on the things you love, from your new smartphone to your favorite skincare brand to that washing machine you were planning to replace. So yes, tariffs can hit your wallet, even if you've never seen a shipping container in your life. Chapter 4. What Singapore is doing now. Before you start panic buying rice and instant noodles again, breathe. Because the good news is, Singapore isn't just sitting back and watching all this unfold like a Netflix drama. Deputy Prime Minister and the Singapore Economic Resilience Task Force have been actively working behind the scenes to soften the blow. First, they're closely monitoring companies that are feeling the pinch, especially those dealing with cash flow issues or delayed orders. If things get worse, the government has support measures ready to go, like financial aid, restructuring help, and business grants. But they're not stopping there. To future-proof our economy, Singapore is doubling down on regional partnerships. That means strengthening trade deals with ASEAN neighbors, so we're not overly reliant on the US or China when things get shaky. And because paperwork is every business's least favorite thing, they're also working on simplifying customs procedures, streamlining rules of origin, and improving supply chain resilience. Translation? Faster, cheaper, and less stressful trading. So yes, while the global trade winds may be blowing in all directions, Singapore is trimming the sails and steering steadily through the storm. Chapter 5. What you can do as a Singaporean. Alright, so what can you actually do while the US and China throw economic pies at each other across the Pacific? Turns out, quite a bit. 1. Stay sharp at work. Watch for changes in your industry. Shifting orders, workloads, or roles could signal bigger trade impacts. Upskill, cross-train, and stay adaptable. In uncertain times, the best investment is you. 2. Be flexible. Whether you're starting out or starting over. Fresh grads. Focus on gaining experience, not chasing perfect pay. Take up internships and training. Doors will open. Seasoned workers, stay agile. Upskill. Embrace new roles, and keep learning. Adaptability plus experience equals long-term value. 3. Don't react. Plan smart. This is the time to review your budget, not react out of fear. Cut unnecessary spending. Build a small emergency fund. Now's a good time to tighten your savings plan and start investing regularly, even small amounts, in low-cost, income-generating assets such as Dividend ETFs. Let your money work as hard as you do. Stay calm, stay consistent. That's how you grow real financial resilience. Final thoughts. The global economy may feel chaotic, but if we stay adaptable, informed, and resilient, we won't just survive the storm. We'll ride the wave to something better. So, to wrap up, while Trump tells Walmart to eat the tariffs, Singapore's doing its best not to get indigestion from all the trade war drama. Yes, uncertainty is real. But with smart policies, a bit of career flexibility, and good old-fashioned financial discipline, we'll stay steady. And maybe even come out ahead. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to Wealth for You, and share it with someone who could use a dose of clarity in confusing times. This is Wealth for You, helping you grow your money, protect your future, and thrive, even when tariffs fly.